And your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only like 11 people alive of the 200 and something crew, and the entire ship was rotting down to the waterline. That's destiny. That's will. That's striving. That's being a trailblazer, an explorer, going into space, mathematics, quantum mechanics, the secrets of the universe. It's all there. Life is fiery with its beauty, its incredible detail. Tuning into it. They want to shatter your mind talking about Justin Bieber.
Hello out there. We're on the air, my friends. Happy Friday. Happy frickin' Friday to you. I apologize. I guess I apologize. I don't really, but I do. It's just had one of those mornings, you know. Just got home late. Had a very long day yesterday. 36 holes of golf in the sunshine. Got a bit of a burn. But that's okay. Need some sunshine. Sunshine provides light and growth. And that's what we're all here for. So cheers to you. I got some music in the office today because I have to have the door shut, unfortunately. So I got to keep it kind of quiet. A little quiet. But today, oh, frick, I forgot to get something. I'll grab it in a couple minutes. I got a list today. We used to do lists all the time, almost, once a week, we have a different list about something. Today's a good one, though. Today is we're talking about Bitcoin, stacking more sats, and the title is Legends Are Born Every Bitcoin Cycle. And I just want to give some props today to the people who are here in 2024. Actually, put your hand up in the chat. Put your hand up in the chat if you got here in 2024. When the new administration took over in the US and you decided it was probably a good idea to get some Bitcoin. And so that's kind of who the show is going to be for today, because you are the legends that were born in this cycle. The previous one was 2020. That was when 2020 we started going way up, and then we crashed back down in 2022. And then, of course, we got back up because that's what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin's not very volatile. It's fiat, and it's the misconceptions and the misunderstandings around Bitcoin that are very volatile. So basically how it works is every cycle, there's a bunch of people. Usually when the price is running up, there's a whole new slew of people that come into Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, start watching Bitcoin shows. And then it starts going sideways for a while. Then it starts going down. Then you're like, what the hell? I'm losing money. I thought I was supposed to make money in Bitcoin. I thought this thing was a store of value. And probably 80 to 90% of people leave. They just can't stomach it. They don't have the ability to hold on through the highs, through the lows, through the volatility. And so every cycle, 90% of the people, the tourists, we call them, they get wiped out. They get washed out with the tide. But there's usually about 10 to 15 to 20% of people that stick around, and that builds the new floor in Bitcoin. That's the new foundation in Bitcoin. And those people are legends. If you can watch your investments drop by 50, 60, 70% and still just hold on with conviction and show up in the mornings and in the communities, then I would consider you to be a legend. So we're going to talk about the legends who are here and how we can keep going forward in a bigger way. So I got I think there's 8 things that 8 ideas I came up with to help people, the legends, stack more sats now that the tourists are gone. And that's one way to think about it, right? When the price is going down, people are selling. That means that you have there's less people competing for these scarce units that we call Satoshis. And so that's why the price goes down. Less people wanting the same amount of things equals price going down. Of course, there's a bunch of bullshit going on. When Bitcoin got weaved into the financial markets, the old system, through ETFs, through strategy, through all these different products and leverage products and options and calls, they have the ability, because Bitcoin's still such a small, it is still very niche. Bitcoin's very niche. Like if you look at the total, I think it's like what even is the market cap of Bitcoin? It's 1 trillion, which out of 900 trillion total, it's pretty small. $1.19 trillion market cap today. And that is, of course, calculated by taking the total supply of Bitcoin. You can see everything right here. This is my favorite tool in Bitcoin, is the time chain calendar. It gives you a pretty good, look at that, 9555. I'll tell you the story about the fives yesterday. Oh, look at that. Innopolis Tech. Never heard of that miner before. That's a new one. Innopolis Tech. They're probably going absolutely bonkers at Innopolis Tech headquarters this morning because they got 3.13 biddy. That's a big one. Big block. They got the subsidy plus the million sats and transaction fees for a total of 3.13 reward. So shout out to Innopolis Tech. But there's the market cap right here, the 1.19 trillion. And that, of course, is calculated by taking this number here, the 59, this floating number here that's changing every second, 59,000 times 20.04 million approximately. It's a little bit higher than that, but it's approximately. So that's the market cap. And that's $1 trillion. And so when you consider that on a global scale and how small and insignificant that is at this point, it's very easy for these large institutions and these markets to play games with it, to play games with the price. And they're not always going to be able to do that, but they still have the ability to do that today. And, if you are somebody who survived the drawdown, the crash, I guess you'd say in 2026, then, you're happy about this. You're happy about this crash because you're here. You're here no matter what. You got the conviction. You understand what's happening here. And your main mission, one of them, is to accumulate more sats, accumulate more of the network equity, as we call it. A stoic, systematic approach to accumulating network equity. So there we go. That's where we are. So I got to go grab those because I didn't have them memorized, but it's a pretty good list. And so that's what we're going to be going through today. But I do have some sunburn here. I got a little burnt yesterday. We had 36 holes in the sun. It was supposed to be kind of rainy yesterday, but we had freaking 8 hours of sunshine. So I got maybe a little bit of, not really a hangover. Didn't have too much to drink, but definitely dehydrated. Definitely probably got some sun. What's it called? Not sunburn. Heat stroke. I'm stroking. And so yeah, yesterday was our big day of fives. We had our 50th show. Yesterday was number 50 or 550. Either way, we were full of fives. We had 2 rants over on Rumble that were $50 each. We had Sharon B in the chat with 5555 zap and a bunch of other fives kicking around. And I kind of jinxed myself because the 2 rounds of golf that I had yesterday were horrible. I was humbled big time by golf yesterday, but it was, I was due for it. I was playing pretty good. We were winning pretty significantly. And so yesterday we had 2 matches and we lost both. And I was pretty humbled by the game of golf yesterday. But the funny thing is when I was talking about that in the morning, I said, today's going to be full of 5s. And I just hope it doesn't show up on my scorecard. And that's exactly what happened. I jinxed myself. It wasn't that I was playing terrible. I just couldn't get the ball in the hole, as Happy Gilmore would say. I couldn't get the ball in the hole. So I just found ways every freaking hole to make a 5. Just pissing it around the greens. So way too many 5s. When you get a lot of 5s going on a scorecard, it turns into a pretty big number. And so some people, I mean, it all depends on your view of the game and how long you've been playing. But, some people would be happy with a scorecard full of 5s. But, I've been golfing since I was 3 years old. It's one of my favorite things to do. I put a lot of time into the game. And so 5s don't cut it for me. And we play handicap. So I have a lower handicap. And so I'm giving a lot of strokes to guys. And so that's what happened yesterday. I was humbled by the game of golf, but needed it. You need something like that to kind of bring you back down once in a while. And that's what happened. So anyways, it is Friday today. It is Fat Zap Friday. And it's a pleasure to be with all of you today. Some highly intelligent people, as Trump famously said in Nashville 2024, his speech at the Bitcoin conference. He called Bitcoiners highly intelligent people. And I love spending the mornings with you guys and girls. So let's see what's going on here today. I see some spam in the chat. Let's check that out. Sats and Sunsets is here. The mighty duck himself, the man, the Smith, the legend. Good morning, Sats and Sunsets. He was one of the big zappers yesterday, one of the big fiat zappers on Rumble yesterday. So cheers, Sats and Sunsets. Captain was also in the mix yesterday. So Captain is here, says good morning. Good to see you, my friend, and thanks again for the support yesterday. Styles Row, Robert is here. Look at that guy. Tennis guy, big tennis guy. Good morning, Robert. Such a big tennis guy that I believe he might even be able to teach you how to play a little bit better if you were in the market for it. Ginger is here. Good morning, Ginger. Good to see you, man. Great to see Ginger in the chat today. I was putting together this new banner here. Shout out to the 500 subscribers on Rumble. We're at 503 now, I think. We had a couple trickle in yesterday. So keep in mind, if you are watching this on YouTube, consider heading over to the Rumble channel. That's where the rednecks hang out. That's the fun chat. That's the fun chat over there. But, okay, what am I missing here? Did I miss anything? I see something changed here, but I don't know what it was. So let's go here. Music is right in the office today, so it's kind of messing with me a little bit. Hopefully you guys and girls can't hear it in the background. So we got 27 people today, and we got 10 thumbs up, so that's kind of sad, folks. It's Fat Zap Friday. Oh, it was Jenny. Jenny, that's what changed. Jenny sent Fiat Zap over on Rumble of $2. She said, feed the friggin' ducks. Thank you, Jenny. Jenny was also one of our big supporters yesterday. And I wanted to say a big thank you, too. Before the show even started today, we had one of our biggest supporters sending in some sats over the airwaves, and that was Maria. Today, though, Maria is identifying as Maria 10K. She sent a double shot of espresso this morning. So thank you, Maria. Thank you, Maria. First zap of the day. And it is Fat Zap Friday. So we'll see what happens. We kind of had a Fat Zap Thursday yesterday. But Thursday, Friday, are they that much different? I would say, yeah. Friday's what you want. We got a big weekend here. I'm going to a music festival today, a country music festival in my local area. So, yes, we got a big one from Maria to start the day. And it looks like we got one here from Jenny. Jenny sent a Jenny Zap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you, Jenny. And 51 sats from Sats and Sunsets for show number 51 today. All right, you guys are going to you're going to enjoy the show today. You're going to enjoy the list. Scotty Boy says, is this the right place to be a baby? Baby Legend Sats and Sunsets says. Sats and Sunsets says. That's a lot of S's there. There's Jenny. Hands up my sat. Says, good morning. Is this the right place to find feds lurking in the chat? Yeah, we got a couple in here, I think. I don't know who they are. I think one of them's could be Scotty. That'd be one of my picks for a fed. Who else? Plebinator might be one. Plebinator might be a fed. Who else? I'm just joking. I don't think a fed would have this much patience to stick around this long through all the bullshit. They'd be like, these guys are just idiots. I don't think they're any sort of threat to society. They're just a bunch of idiots in here. Rich says 15 in the queue and only 3 likes. Yeah, what the heck's going on? Low likes today. We got to bring things up here. We got to bring things up here. Everything. Well, I know vibes are low in Bitcoin right now. The 58K meme is back in full force, but we're the floor here. We're the foundation. So we gotta hold strong. You got to keep that in mind. Like I mentioned, that the tourists are gone. Anybody who's survived from their 2024 entry up until now is a Bitcoiner, is a legend, and we are the new floor. We are the new floor. We are the new foundation. And so when you're the foundation, you got to be strong. You got to be the ones. You got to be the part that holds together through history. So we got to raise things up. We got to raise the likes, the thumbs up in the chat, the zaps, the fiat zaps, the vibes. Everything's got to go up here. It's Friday, and we are the foundation. Rich, good morning, my friend. Maria, 2,500. There she is right there. Happy Friday, Visionaries. Good morning, Maria. Thank you for so far the fattest zap of the day on Fat Zap Friday. We'll see. Has the stream started yet? No, I was late today. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, okay. No, I was late. We're good. Josh says, Jor must be stuck on the John. It happens. No, I was just stuck in freaking no man's land. I was just stuck in, yeah, here we go. There's the ducks. Camille's here. Camille, I haven't seen you for a while, man. Good morning. Hopefully you're having a good summer out there on the coast. MR Ducks, CM Wangs. That's exactly what a Fed would say, Scotty. Yeah, Jen knows. Jenny says, hey, Jor, extra fiber water, and I hear coffee will help with your bathroom problem. Yeah, I got no problems in there. I never have and hopefully never will. But I appreciate the advice there, Jenny. Captain's liking it. Chuck is here. CWH13 says coffee and a bran muffin. What the hell? You guys are freaking... You guys got your mind in the gutter. As Hodler would say. As BTC Hodler would say, get your head out of the gutter. That's one of her signature lines. Get your head out of the gutter. Okay, speaking of water, though, we got some raspberry today. Raspberry salt. Element. We'll see how it tastes. I'm going to guess good. I'm going to guess this is going to taste pretty good today. Big Daddy Supreme says, birds of a feather flock together. Run BIP 110. And Plebinator disagrees. He says, throw your Start9 server away. They are endorsing BIP 110. Yeah, just another civil war in Bitcoin, of course. Bitcoiners just want to have something to bitch about all the time. Sailor, Bitcoin Core, who's next? Larry Fink, Jim Cramer. Who's the dipshit that likes gold? Shifty Shift. But Bitcoiners have turned on each other now. Who saw that coming? Not me. But I am in the camp of Team Bitcoin. I do not believe in taking sides. I believe that all the extremes, all the sides are intentional. That's the whole strategy, man. That's how they've managed to run the world for the last thousands of years, is by telling everybody that they're different, forking everybody against each other, the divide and conquer strategy. And I'm not falling for it. We're all in Team Bitcoin. There's nothing but love here for everybody, except Craig Wright, of course. Francis Wallace is here. Good morning, Francis. He says, good morning. Stack those cheap sats, everyone. Yes, no doubt. Plebinator. Yeah, Sats and Sons has got a good point. I think Plebinator is saying don't buy from Start9 because Matt Hill is supporting BIP 110. There's some controversy. Lots of controversy today. I even saw on Primal, on Noster, people were chirping Start9 because they're such advocates of let me find the post here. Again, I love Start9. I've always said if there was one company that I would like to be sponsored by, it would be Start9. But yeah, I mean, that's a problem. That's a problem with, you know, I've been accused of just being a fence sitter and keeping my head in the sand, I guess. But it's just like, to me, I don't think that there's any real threats to Bitcoin right now. And I just think that we're wasting our time and our energy, our finite time and energy, fighting over stupid shit. So I just don't want to buy into it. So you can call me whatever you want to. I just think that Bitcoin is fine, more than fine as it is right now. It seems to be working great. Everything that we're trying to put Band-Aids on are all hypothetical situations. And Bitcoin's not meant to be changed and upgraded and all these different things to it. That's just my opinion. And I know a lot of people disagree with that, and that's fine. But again, we need more nuance in life. It's not just black or white. It's not just black or white. And it seems like for the last 5 years, more than anything else, people love just finding one thing and basically basing their whole identity around that thing. We saw it with like the masks and the needles in the emojis and the profile names, and then the Ukrainian flags, and now it's BIP 110. It's just like, you know, you don't have to go so extreme. You can just find some gray there. Everything doesn't have to be black and white. You don't have to build your whole identity around something that you believe in. So it's just I don't know. Again, I'm not really. Everybody's talking about it. I'm tired of talking about it. And I don't know. I'm just tired. I'm tired of it. We got much bigger things to worry about than this shit. BIP 110 is not Bitcoin. I agree with that. Satoshi wanted data on chain. I mean, that's also kind of that's a nuance there too. But I think that one thing to keep in mind here is that you have to, and I really haven't heard too many people talk about this, which makes me wonder if I'm out to lunch with this concept myself. In the sense of, like, I see kind of Bitcoin as two different things. Like, a lot of people believe in Bitcoin being money. And of course I do as well. I run knots myself. I don't think that we should be putting JPEGs on the blockchain. I disagree with all that. And that's why I run knots. But, you know, you have to make the differentiation between Bitcoin, the network, the time chain, the ledger, right? That's one part of this, Bitcoin, capital B Bitcoin. And then you have Bitcoin, the currency. Bitcoin with a lowercase b being the currency. And the currency is what runs on top of the layers, the Satoshis. That's what runs on top of the layers and the networks. So you could still have Bitcoin as money. Bitcoin is money. It's a currency. Lowercase b will always be a money for anybody who wants to accept it. That doesn't have anything to do with the network itself. And I think that people's biggest argument right now is that if we keep allowing spam, which again is very subjective, I would say, and people disagree with that. They're like, well, Jor, you know, you're just being silly. You know what spam is. And yeah, I would agree. Like, I agree with what you probably would consider to be spam, but not everybody does. That's the thing. So the argument is that if we keep allowing all this spam to be on the blockchain, then it's going to be too expensive for the average person to run a node. There's projections saying that if we continue to allow spam on the blockchain in the next couple of years, it's going to double in size in terms of like the requirements, the storage requirements to run a node. Because right now, I believe it's like 700 or 800 gigabytes of data. That's how much, if you're running a full node, that's how much data it's taken up. And so the estimates say that if in the next couple of years or by some certain date in the near future, it's going to double from 1600 or sorry, 600 or 700 to 1.5 or 2 terabytes. And that is a concern, of course. Like the main power of Bitcoin is the decentralization of it, the nodes. But like realistically and mathematically, how many people are going to be running nodes? How many people in the future are going to be running nodes? And the reason why I say mathematically is because if you look at the math, and a lot of people just don't look at the math because it's so different. Like people aren't used to objective things. Like the fiat system itself is it's just all kind of, I don't even know how to explain it. It's not real. It's an illusion. Everything about it can be manipulated, can be changed, can be altered without any sort of proof of work or energy required to do that. So we're not used to this system, this network that runs on math. And so if you do the math on this, you see that pretty much the people who are here today, probably who are here today in the next couple of years, once we get beyond that, there's just simply not enough UTXOs for everybody, not even close. Like do the math on it. There's not enough UTXOs for every person on the planet. They're not even close to it. Probably not even UTXOs for a tenth of the planet. So if people don't have UTXOs, that doesn't mean Bitcoin's not going to be used as money. That doesn't mean people aren't going to use Bitcoin to buy and sell and transact with and store value in as well. But like, it's not going to be like it is today. Not everybody's going to have one of these because not everybody's going to have UTXOs. There, again, mathematically, there's just not enough Satoshis for everybody to have UTXOs. So I just don't think that we're going to see many more people running nodes in the future. I just don't. Because what would be the reason for somebody to run a node if they didn't have any data, if they didn't have any UTXOs? So that argument kind of falls a little bit flat to me. And again, maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, but just because there's stuff on the time chain or the network that you don't like, that doesn't mean that Bitcoin can't be money. And I guess the argument to that would be, well, if we lose the ability to run our own nodes, then Bitcoin would lose its decentralization and become more centralized. But I just don't think realistically, like think about all the people in your life, they don't even want to buy Bitcoin. Do you really think that those same people are going to get as far as we're into this and like start running their own node? Highly doubt it. I couldn't think of one person that I know in real life that would go through the process of running a node. And again, they're not going to need to because mathematically there's not enough UTXOs for everybody. So I don't know. Like my stance on it would be that I think it's a problem. I don't think that they should be doing this right now. I think they're trying to do this too quickly. I think they're trying to force this through and just kind of like gather a mob of people together. And I think it's going to fail. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be damaged by it. I really do. So I don't know. Like it's hard for me. I really want to support that because like I said, I was somebody who started running knots. I don't agree with what they're putting on the blockchain, but I also think that it's a slippery slope to start telling people what they can and can't do in Bitcoin. Because how is it decentralized if people have the ability to say what you can and can't do on it? How is it censorship resistant if all of a sudden we can make this change and this change and this change? And it's like, okay, well, how censorship resistant is it really? And there's always implications of it too that I don't think people foresee. Again, I like the idea of it. I like the idea of it. I just don't think it's the right time. I think they're doing it too quickly, and I think it's going to fail. And I think there's going to be a lot of people who are hurt by this, and probably all of us will be in the short term, anyways. Because like, why would big investors and institutions and anybody want to invest in Bitcoin if there's so much uncertainty, and there's just like, even Bitcoiners don't even know what the hell is going to happen. So what we want to do, what we need to do is grow adoption. And shit like this isn't growing adoption. It's doing the exact opposite of growing adoption. It's turning people off of Bitcoin. It's keeping people out of Bitcoin. It's wasting energy. Like, just imagine just imagine this for a second. All the time, all the energy over this last 6 months that have been spent by people like Matthew Kratter. I love Matthew Kratter, but think about how many videos he's put up on this subject, just basically like, ostracizing people. When he was such a great teacher, he got so many people into Bitcoin. He helped grow adoption of Bitcoin exponentially when he was focused on that. And I don't know, it just doesn't seem like that big of a thing to me that we need to put so much time and energy. But just imagine all those hours that were spent by both sides of this. If we were just working to grow adoption, how much further ahead we would be right now. So it kind of pisses me off in that sense. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that Satoshi wanted data on chain, but like, I think that if he didn't, he probably would have designed it a little bit differently. And everybody points to the peer-to-peer cash, peer-to-peer electronic cash. And again, that's why you need to keep it separate. You have the network and you have the currency, Bitcoin, capital B Bitcoin, lowercase b Bitcoin, the network, the currency. The currency still works as a peer-to-peer electronic cash. No matter what happens, you could still use it in the same way. So that it's different though when you consider the implications of the network. And if you don't want the ability for people to censor transactions on there, then how do you run something like this through it? And again, it could be better. It could be better. It's just, I don't like the approach that they're taking. I don't like how, like, the soft fork thing and the requirements and the thresholds of it. It's just the wrong way to do it, I think. And just how like much animosity there is between these two sides of people. It's really childish to me. It's very immature and childish. And, I just think that we need something better. I think that we need to build something better. It's up to us. Like, we got handed this protocol, this beautifully designed protocol that is supposed to last 1,000 years. We got handed that on a silver plate and said, here you go destroy fiat. And we're just fighting with each other. So it's up to us though, because we still need to build like the governance around it. And I think we as Bitcoiners need to do a much better job of like less about price go up and more about adoption go up and freedom go up and how we can actually sustain this thing. Because how it is right now isn't working. It's just like guys from their basements yelling at each other in comment sections. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, we will never get far by acting this way and using this type of a governance structure. We won't, because this is like the first of very many to come in the future. Bitcoin's going to be under attack forever. Or I guess as long as the fiat system is still relevant, Bitcoin's going to be under attack. So we need to be ready for this shit. And I know, I probably live in a bit of a fantasy land sometimes in terms of like just wanting people to work together, understanding what we have and working together to grow it. But like, we need to be together, and we need to put something in place so that when things like this come up in the future, and they will, we're much more equipped for it. We're much more equipped for it, because we can't just take this for granted and just assume that things are going to work itself out, because they won't. I don't think that things will work themselves out. And so I'm not really trying to pick a side here. I'm just saying that we need something better. We need a better way to communicate. We need a better way to have open discussion and debate and actually speak to the node runners in a more effective way. Because all this bullshit on Twitter and replies and like videos, just solo videos about it, I don't know. It seems totally backwards. And if you look at the current system, the old world that we have, like they have things in place. The founding fathers, the Constitution was written, they had all these different things in place so that when things like this came up, there was a process to handle it. And I guess there is. It's very unclear. It's very muddy. And I just think we need to do a better job of like the governance of Bitcoin. And I don't know what that looks like. So I don't really have the solution to it. I just think that should be more of a talking point than just fighting. So I don't know. I know a lot of people don't agree with that. And that's it is what it is. But I'm definitely entitled to my own opinion on it. Your word would mean more if you owned one. Start 9. I'm guessing he's talking to Plebinator here. What's the controversy? So I just kind of, I don't know. I just kind of gave my thoughts on it. I'm freaking tired of talking about it, man. But again, have to do something. Something's got to change, I think. Hopefully this is a good wake-up call for the community. I don't know. And that's the other thing for me is like, when they talk about spam and they talk about putting images on the blockchain, the time chain, it's like, yeah, even if we prevented that, it's still happening. And what I focus on this show, what I try to build, my days around is destroying fiat. Because you think about these images, and there was 2 or 3 months where it was just everywhere. I forget what they were even calling it now, like C-spam or something. I don't know what it was, but there is just like too much. It was too much. It was weird. But like they're trying to make sure that people can't put this on the blockchain, which is fair. But like, why don't we focus on that not happening in the first place? Those images not being taken in the first place. Because the only reason why those images are happening and all this, very evil things are happening is because of fiat. How do you think it happens? How do you think these politicians get access to what they do in terms of like all this sick and disgusting stuff that they have? How? Do you think that they're just, pulling it out of their own checking account and buying these things that they buy? And I don't want to say too much here. I'm trying to, say it without saying it. But do you think that they're paying out of pocket, out of their checking account for it? Or do you think it's possibly your tax dollars or money being printed and allocated to these different foundations and funds and then going from there? So the fiat system is enabling all of that to happen. That's what needs to change. That's the core of the issue here. Trying to make sure that images don't pop up on servers or whatever, that's just putting a Band-Aid on things. That's not fixing anything. We need to fix the core of the problem here, which is fiat. Fiat enables that to happen. And if we just keep arguing with each other about everything, we're never going to do anything. Adoption's never going to increase because we're lost in the sauce. We're just arguing over the semantics of things. So this time and energy, in my opinion, should be spent growing the adoption of Bitcoin. Because the more people who are invested in Bitcoin and using it to pay for things, using it to store their value in, the more decentralized it becomes. Nodes are a big part of it, of course. Miners are a big part of it, of course. But like, the more people that are invested in Bitcoin, the harder it's going to be to change, and the harder it's going to be to make to fail. That was one of the silver linings of the ETF. Obviously, the price went up, but now there's all this monkey games with Bitcoin and manipulation. But when Larry Fink has a vested interest in Bitcoin, the likelihood of it failing goes down significantly. And if we can apply that to the globe instead of 1 or 2 billionaires, that's really how we make this thing built to last. And that comes through adoption. And, this shit isn't helping adoption. I would say that it's very much hurting adoption more than anything else. So I just think that we're focused on the wrong shit. I think we're focused on the wrong shit. Captain says, one of the reasons I find BIP 110 interesting is that it makes Bitcoin much less useful for storing arbitrary data, including things like copyright material or even illegal images. For sure. That's a positive about it. That's the thing. It's like, whichever way I lean, there's good things and there's bad things about each side. It's not just like everything about this side is right, everything about this side is wrong. We got to have less black and white in the world. We need more gray. And so, you know, I agree with that. But is this the question that I have, is this the cure? And the side effects of that, what are the implications of that? Is this the right cure? Because I agree with this. I think that we should have less arbitrary data, less room for that. But what are the implications of that? What are the side effects? Is this exact fix and the timing of it and everything like that, is this the right thing? I don't know. That's where I struggle. Spellis says, good morning, Sovereignty and George. Good morning. We're not raiding yet, Scotty boy. We just got here. Sats and Sunset says, I was reborn this cycle. Oh, I love that, man. I love that. Annapolis Tech found 4 blocks this week. Okay, well, I've never even seen them before. Good for them. I wonder what they're all about. TBN, the Bitcoin nurse, says, happy Friday, Bitcoin bros. And the other thing, the last thing I'm going to say about this today is I kind of talked about like people attaching their whole identities to stuff like this. I think that's very dangerous. And that's what I'm most worried about, because if this thing fails, I just think that there's going to be a lot of people who are pissed off and might never come back to Bitcoin. And that has severe consequences for the network. Imagine all these people who have all this money invested into Bitcoin, all this time and energy into Bitcoin, and they just like don't want it anymore. That's a huge problem. And I just think the more polarized we get, the worse that becomes. And, you know, you have people in the chats and in the comment sections and wherever, they don't really understand what's going on. They don't know the ins and outs of exactly what this thing is and what the implications are and what the side effects of it are. They're just kind of latching on to their favorite person and just going all in on that and basing their whole identity around it. They don't understand it. And I think that that's what the biggest problem here is that not many people do. So how are we supposed to make informed decisions if most people have no idea what's actually happening? Like, I think that people just like in the pandemic days, they're like, well, you got to save your grandma. You got to save your grandma. You got to wear a mask. You got to get a needle in your arm, because what about grandma? They do the same shit with the social media stuff. We don't want kids. Kids' minds are getting messed up with the social media stuff. We need to make sure that every person who goes onto social media identifies themselves, so that they pull at your heartstrings with these issues, and then they give you this solution to it. And because of the emotion involved in what they're trying to fight about, people just like blindly go along with it. And the thing is like everybody, or I shouldn't say everybody, but like most people in those situations, like the grandmas, the 16-year-olds, the spam on the blockchain, everybody has like good intentions. And that's why they're talking about it. They're like, yeah, of course we don't want those images on the blockchain. So then everything else they say is like gospel. So it's dangerous. It's dangerous. But good morning, Bitcoin nurse. Good to see you, my man. Lox Guy says, hey, chat. Good morning, Lox Guy. Great to see you, buddy. Sats and Sunset said every day this week was a palindrome day. 6-2. Yeah, it would be. 26. Didn't even know that. Today would be a big one, though. 6-2-6-2-6. Is that right? 6-2-6-2-6. Yeah, wow. Yesterday would have been 6-2-5-2-6. So yeah, these are all palindromes, because the middle one would change, but the first two and the last two would be the same all week. That's interesting. Why didn't I know that? Craig. The beautiful thing is the optionality of nodes to filter BS. That's what I mean. Like that's where I stand. It's like I'm running knots. So what added benefit does 110 provide to me? That's the question. And I guess the argument that I got back, because I've been asking on like Twitter and Nostr and stuff like this, because I really want to understand it. And they're like, well, then there's less data, there's less, stress on the network, less bloat, UTXO bloat. But it's like, you look at the blocks, half of them are empty right now anyways. And if I'm running knots, then my node's not going to see any of that shit anyways. And then they're like, well, it'll get on the blockchain. Here's my argument. I guess it might be a straw man argument, I think. But like, I feel like if somebody really wanted to put something on there, they could find a way to do it. So I mean, again, I see both sides of the argument here. And I agree with both sides of the arguments here. In the sense of somebody says, well, if somebody really wanted to do it, they could. But also people say, well, do you lock your doors at night? Because then there's at least some friction there. I get both sides of it. But my whole thing is like, I don't think this is the time. I don't think this is the solution to it. I agree with most things and on pretty much, the majority of things that's going on. It's just like, I think they're taking the wrong approach. They're doing it too quickly. There's not enough people that understand what's happening here. I don't think they're going to have enough backing to do it. I don't think they're going to come anywhere near it. And so it's just going to do more harm to people. And again, it's just going to hurt adoption and slow us down. So I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough one. Rockabilly says, I run it also, but feel it's important. How about just in case? Geez. Send Diesel's here. Send Deezy. Good morning, Jake. 21 hats. Folsom Hoddle. Bitcoin Barber. Bitcoin Barber says, how many days till Bitcoin hits 55K? It's a good question. I don't know if it will. But also, I have no idea. I'm not a freaking, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just buying every day. That's the beauty of it. And that's what we're going to talk about here right away. So we're kind of already running way late here, but that's all right. And see, stuff like this. This is the kind of stuff that honestly pisses me off. Because like the ironic part about this is like you don't want spam, but you're spamming every live chat and every comment section. You're against spam, but all you're doing is spamming. Like, don't you see the irony in that? I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's just weird to me. Anyways, I got to go grab this list here. So I'm going to be back in 10 seconds. And I'll be back in 10 seconds. I'll go grab it. We'll come back and talk about it.
There's two things that keep me bullish no matter what's going on. One, it's a 10x, more than a 10x improvement over its predecessor. I'm a gold holder and I'm a Bitcoin holder. And I can tell you, having used both, Bitcoin's better in every single way. Every single way. History shows that technology, as it evolves and we head to those 10x multiples, it takes over. And the second thing is, look at the quality of people who are Bitcoiners. Look at the diversity of their backgrounds. I'm a tunnel engineer. There's people who are doctors. There's people come from all these like fascinating, interesting backgrounds, and they've all converged on the same thing, being like Bitcoin's like the best thing since sliced bread. You're telling me that all of these smart INTJ engineer types, they're all dumb and idiots? Like, no. The most bullish thing about Bitcoin is the people who get attracted to it. I'm not betting against those people. So many Bitcoiners came up and grew up in an era where the world hated Bitcoin. Every headline was negative. Every government didn't like it. It's getting banned. It's getting shut down. And yet we still formed enough conviction to be like, no way. I'm putting my whole life savings in this thing. We all formed a consensus that this thing kicks ass independently, whilst everyone was telling us that we were dead wrong, and we stuck to our guns. I'm sorry, I'm not betting against those people. They get it.
We need more people like that. We need more people who understand, that there's something much bigger happening here, and we need to guard our time and energy and focus in the right direction. And it seems like we've lost that. Oh, we got a big zap here. Where'd this come from? We got a big increase in the zaps today. What happened here? Wow. Wow. You know, I was looking at that. I saw the balance go up, and kind of in the back of my head, and maybe this is just silly of me, but I like, you know, the reason why I love Bitcoin so much is because it's decentralized. You know what I mean? It's decentralized. It's very robust. It's very difficult to change by design, and that is a feature and not a bug. And so I'm always hoping things are more decentralized. And you know, for the most part, this channel is fairly decentralized. And so I saw a big increase in the balance here, and like in the back of my mind, I was thinking, you know, maybe 10 different people, a couple different amounts, but because then there's just more sustainability there when there's people from the community who are, you know, everybody's contributing, and you know, I just think it's sustainable. And I think I even mentioned this yesterday. I said I just can't believe that we're still able to do this. I can't. And it is an absolute blessing that we can come on here and speak an unfiltered, unbiased opinions every day, and just hang out with each other, and without having to rely on sponsors or, you know, chasing clickbait and AI thumbnails and all these different things. It's just like, it's amazing to me. And because of the community, and there are definitely, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however, whatever it be, who do pull the majority of the weight around here to make that happen. But you know, we still get contributions from everybody, and there really is no contribution to me that is too small, any amount, because I very much value the support that comes through here. And it's not just, you know, for my ego or for the balance to go up. It's because you're saying, hey, Jor, whatever you're doing right now, I appreciate it. I'm getting value from you. You know, I'm listening to you for a couple hours every day, and whether it is just entertainment or it's a education component to it or whatever it is, or you just like hanging out here, that's a signal to me that you're saying, keep going. Attaboy. I love that. I love the attaboy. And every time there's a zap that comes through here, that's a little like attaboy to me, just to keep going. Thank you. I'm getting value from you. Here's some back. But this one was a single shot here. And it was to celebrate the end of Palindrome week on this Fat Zap Friday today. And it was from our guy, the Mighty Duck himself. The Mighty Duck himself here. He sent in a big zap. And if you can do a little bit of math in your head, you can figure out what this one is based on the date today. And I will say that it's a very large zap. And I don't know how many shots of espresso it would be. It would be 12, I think, 12 point some. So if you're good at math, you can figure out what the zap was. But it was from Sats and Sunsets, the Mighty Duck, the Smith. And he said, end of Palindrome week, celebrating SNS. So thank you, Sats and Sunsets, the Mighty Duck, the Smith. Very much appreciate that, man. Big part of why we're able to keep going here. So cheers to you, my friend. So that's a very strong signal to me that we keep going. And I absolutely love this comment here from Sats and Sunsets, because he's been around for a while. He's been in Bitcoin for a while, but it seems based on this comment that he's been kind of sparked, re-energized, revitalized, and more active in the community, obviously supporting, trying to help grow adoption. That's what we do here every day, grow adoption and fiat. And I really appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. That's a big one. So thank you, Sats and Sunsets. And we also got one from our guy, Sindeezy here, who says, Fat Zap Friday with a fist. Boom. Or as Jerry would say, boom. Fat Zap Friday, 1845 for the great state of Texas. And shout out to the Texas Rangers for being the only team, probably in professional sports, that said they weren't going to do the Pride Night bullshit. So cheers to Sin. Cheers to Texas. Cheers to the Texas Rangers. And happy Pride Month, everybody. Happy Pride Month. Hey, speaking of Bume, man, I swear to God, this universe, man, I literally just said, or as Jerry would say, Bume, and look who shows up in the chat. And I don't think he put this in after I said that. I'm pretty sure that happened at like the exact time that I said Jerry, because I don't think Jerry types very fast. I think this probably would have taken him like 5 minutes to type. Just kidding. He's a wizard. He's Jerry surprises me every day with his abilities. He's a very forward-thinking guy. He calls him and myself doppelgangers, and I think that we really are. Even though we're different age, we're different race. We look a little bit differently, but the mind up here, we have very similar minds in terms of just everything. There's not too many things that I would say that that's not the case for in our lives. Yeah, that's what I mean. Right when I'm trying to take a page out of the Trolls book, of Jenny's book, and Trent's book. They're always giving Jerry a hard time. And I shouldn't say I was the OG, because I think the Troll's been on Jerry's channel for many years. But after the Troll, I was the original agitator of Jerry. That was one of my favorite things to do, is just hop in the chat and pester Jerry. So that's just my way of showing love to Jerry. That's my way of showing love. I used to do that with my mom all the time. And that's what she'd say. She didn't take it personally. She just said that that's his way of showing love. And she was right. And I love pestering Jerry. I like giving him a hard time. And that's my way of showing love to Jerry. 5 minutes. I couldn't even get that one out without starting to laugh there. Good to see you, Jerry. And Jerry's doing great things, man. He's been such a net positive for Bitcoin and the freedom space. And I'm just really glad that I know him and that I've got to meet him. And I know that we're going to spend a lot more time together in the future, both online and in real life. Proof of pants. Oh, you guys saw my pants. I must have been on the sides there. Good. Yeah, I'm wearing pants today. Usually it's shorts, but I was feeling lazy today. But yes, I do have pants on. Jerry, I don't know. Jerry, I'd say about 50-50 odds every episode he does. But I mean, when he's out in public making videos like his Satoshi Saturdays and his walk around videos, he's wearing pants for those, or shorts. But behind the computer screen, I don't know. I'd give it about a 50-50 depending on the stream of whether Jerry's wearing pants or not. Anyways, I got my list. And it's a little bit messy here, but look at that. It's a big list. So I'm thinking this one deserves a spreadsheet. We haven't had too many spreadsheets lately. So what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the show, we got all the negative energy out of here, but I think those, as much as I hate conversations like that, I think they're important. And again, just to kind of conclude on that, I don't think that there's one right answer. And the beauty of Bitcoin and the beauty of life overall is that whatever's happening is perfect. You have to understand that. You have to understand that. You shouldn't fight anything. You shouldn't push against anything. You shouldn't resist anything at all. The universe, regardless of what you think of it today, is perfect. It is. And it's only perfect because it's the best that we can do right now based on what we have. You know what I mean? Of course, my mind goes to like, we should be flying around in hovercrafts for wherever we want to go from A to B. We should be there, but we're not. And that's just a calculation of who's here, what we know, what we have the ability to do. Would I argue that should we be doing better? Maybe, but we're not. And what is better? Better to me would be different than better to somebody else. So that's the whole point. Is like wherever we are right now is perfect. And you have to understand that, because then your expectations changed. You have less stress, less fear, less anxiety about anything. Just if you operate under that assumption that things are perfect just the way they are right now, they're exactly how they're supposed to be, then what do you have to worry about? You can't control it. You can't change it. You shouldn't resist it. It's just what it is. And so again, I might have differing opinions about certain things, and that's fine. That's part of the gray. We agree that Bitcoin is the best tool that humanity's ever had before. We agree that we want to grow the adoption of it. We all agree here that there shouldn't be bullshit on the time chain. But there is the key, because maybe one solution is better than another one. Maybe we just kind of don't do anything right now. Maybe all these issues are hypothetical. Who knows? But the point that I'm trying to say is that wherever we are right now is perfect. Whatever ends up happening here, good or bad, whether I agree with it or not, is perfect based on who's here, based on what we have. It's perfect. And every single second of every single day is that way. It's not just about, this argument in Bitcoin right now. It's about everything. Everything is perfect. You have to operate with that mindset, and you're just going to enjoy life more. I believe. But again, what the hell do I know? Translation fees solve the BIP 110 problem. Convince me otherwise. So you're saying translation fees would solve what BIP 110 is trying to fix? Is that what you're saying, Plastic? Translation fees, that's what I get from that comment. Translation fees solve the BIP 110 problem. Convince me otherwise. So just maybe if you're still watching, Plastic, just verify that that's what you mean. That like you think that the translation fees would solve what BIP 110 is trying to fix. Rockabilly says it's crazy we can get a tenth of a coin this cheap. No doubt. What is it? What is 10 million sats right now? Probably in America, it would be less than 6,000 US dollars for 10 million sats. Wild. And I kind of mentioned this. The funny thing is, like, I mentioned this on the stream with Jerry and Brandon and Robin and Lou the other day. I said, like, Bitcoiners are kind of weird in the sense of, yeah, we want to grow adoption, but also we like cheap sats. So that's why even me, I'm kind of torn. I'm like, I hope this is solved or it works out. But even if it didn't, let's assume the worst case here. Let's assume the worst case with Sailor, with BIP 110, with all this stuff. Let's just assume that the worst happens. What is it? What's the worst case? Bitcoin goes down to 20, 15, 10. You're happy with a tenth of a coin today for $6,000. Imagine if you could get half a coin for $6,000. And you could have back in 2022, the last time when Bitcoin was dead and Bitcoin had no chance to succeed. What happened? Bitcoin dropped down to $15,000. You could have got a half a Bitcoin, 50 million sats for 6,000 US dollars. That was less than 4 years ago. No, it would have been a little bit more than 4 years ago, I think, anyways. When was that? In 2022? Either way, that's the worst case. Okay. Doesn't seem too bad to me. So that's what I mean. Like, don't spend too much of your time and energy, and don't base your whole identity around anything here. Just like take it as it is. If you really deeply believe in something, then yeah, of course. But also understand that there's probably nothing that you can really do about it anyways. So why not allocate that time and energy to something else? I don't know. And, we got guys like, whether it's Dylan LeClaire going to a Bitcoin treasury company. How many people did we lose out on Dylan LeClaire orange pilling because he decided to go work at Metaplanet? Again, not against him. I don't blame him at all. I'm just saying that's one of the side effects of all these things happening. Matthew Cratter. Overall, I would say Matthew Cratter has been a very net positive for Bitcoin. Do I agree with everything he says? No. But himself, how many people has he missed out on orange pilling and helping better understand Bitcoin because he's been focused on this argument here? So it's just, I don't know. These are all just my opinions. And it's my show. My show. I can say whatever I want. Looks like you just spit on the lens. Did I? Shit happens. Shit happens. I probably did. I probably do every show. Sometimes you might just not be looking at the screen. Okay, let's get to this. I would just want to catch up here quickly. Bitcoin Barber says the button of like needs to be smashing. Yeah, let's put that up there. It's a good call. Leave a thumbs up if you're enjoying it. If you're not, then leave a thumbs down. Or take a hike. One of the two. I'm contributing a legitimate opinion to your chat feed. That's spam. You know what I mean. Don't be silly. Every live chat I see, run BIP 110. Bitcoin's going to die if we don't run BIP 110. Every comment section, team BIP 110. All the profiles, one BIP 110 in the thing. It's like, just don't base your whole identity around something. Or do whatever you want. Sats are cheap, so you'll probably get bigger zaps. Yeah, I don't want to. We've had a couple really good days here in a row here, so I'm not going to say anything. And it is what it is. Like I was just saying, there's no sense complaining or feeling bad. It's how the universe works, man. Like if it's not meant to happen, then it's not going to. So I think the only problem that people have is they have expectations. And then when their expectations don't work out as they wanted it to, then they have their vibe goes down, their vibration goes down. And it's tough. I understand that. Like, it's tough in this and golf and whatever it is. It's very hard to not have any sort of expectations. But I think the more you can talk about it and recognize and acknowledge it, then the more likely you are to make changes. Mike is here. Good morning, Micah. Connor, look at that. 7888. Great numbers there. 7888. Plastic said, set up join market and perform coin joins, pay joins, and a tumbler run. It's good advice. He says, boom, fists come up. Sin, more like 80-20. What was I talking about there? 80-20. 80-20. More like 80-20. What was I talking about? What was I talking about? Rage came when you try to control what you can't control. Buddha says. Exactly. Bitcoiner says, I pray to God every day he gives me another dip. There you go. Oh, Jerry's pants odds. So Sats and Sunsets, you're saying 80% he doesn't or does? That's which one? 80% Jerry doesn't have pants on, or 80% he does? Yes, exactly. Bitcoin Barber. That's what I'm saying here, because the universe never gets it wrong. The universe, God, whatever you'd want to call it, the creator never gets it wrong. American BTC Maxi says, you say not to base your identity on BIP 110, yet it's the best thing for Bitcoin, in your opinion, which you appear to base a large portion of your life off of. And that's what I mean. It's the best thing for Bitcoin to you. That's really what I'm trying to say here. Is that there's nobody has the right answer. And whoever tells you that they do, I would say, is full of shit. With anything. Unless it's objective. Like, that's why I love Bitcoin, because it anchors to math. And math is objective. So you have to, I don't know. And I have to too. This is something I've always been guilty of, is basing my decisions and calculations off of subjective things rather than objective things. And really, before Bitcoin, we didn't have too many things that were objective in life. We just didn't. And I think that's why it's so hard for people now that we have the ability to do it. Do we use Jor at Rizfo for zaps? Yeah. Jor@rizfold.com. I'll put it up on the screen here for you, Micah. Where is it? Man, I got to do the Maple show here in a couple hours. If you would like to support this channel, you can zap Jor@rizfol. And we've received a couple big ones today. Captain says like. Oh, Captain with a $5 zap. Look at that. The Captain coming in clutch today. Thank you, Captain. Appreciate that, man. The Captain with a $5. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, what's on the list? Exactly. Let's get to the freaking list. American Bitcoin Maxi. I wouldn't downplay this issue. It's not a coincidence that an attack vector like this is being exploited. What's more important, the permissionless nature or the security of the network? Depends who you ask. That's the point that I'm trying to make here, man. And, you know, I'm not trying to argue. I'm just trying to... it's the same as anything. And I think that probably one of the biggest problems that Bitcoiners are going to have in the future here, and this applies to a lot of different things. And I would say that this even applies to religion. I made a post on Nostr the other day, just talking about, you know, a little bit of religion in it. And there were just some people who like ripped my head off on there. And I'm like, so you realize that we've been lied to about everything, right? You probably agree with me there, except just the thing that you believe in. That's the truth. That's the only thing that they've told the truth about through the years is just what you believe in. So I think that one of the biggest problems that Bitcoiners are going to have in the future is if this thing works out like we expect it to, Bitcoiners are just going to have this ego that no matter what they think, it's the right thing. Whether it is Bitcoin related, consensus related, or policy implementation related, religion related, all these things. It's like, the question that I had is like, how do you as a Bitcoiner see that we've been lied to about literally everything for the last hundreds of years? Everything. They haven't told 1 ounce of truth about anything. So why would they tell the truth about probably the most important topic about, you know, how we got here, the creator, the God? Do you think that story possibly could have been altered too, or do you think that it's just like the flat truth from 2,000 years ago that you know, it's been passed down perfectly? There's been no alterations to it, no changes to it. They want to really pass down the message for you. And again, here's the thing. It's like, there's not a right or wrong there either. I'm not saying it did or didn't happen. I'm just saying, is there a chance? And that you could take certain aspects of it and apply that to your life, and you'd be much better off, I think. But there's also parts of it that I disagree with. So that's the thing. Chase more gray in your life. That's what I'm trying to say. Chase more gray. Do any of these changes to Bitcoin change it fundamentally? Yeah, I would probably say that BIP 110 would change it fundamentally. I would. For the better or worse, I don't know. That's the thing. But I do think that it would change it fundamentally, because it would change what people are able to put into a transaction and put into the data. So yeah, it would. If BIP 110 ends up succeeding, which I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. I know there's a lot of people on the internet who thinks that it's going to happen, you know, without a doubt, because they put it in every live chat. But you need a lot to change Bitcoin. You need a lot of consensus, and that includes individuals, that includes nodes, that includes the miners. There's a lot that has to go right. And I could be wrong. You know, I'm wrong about a lot of things, admittedly. But I just don't think that it won't change the network. Okay, explain that one. Explain how it won't change the network. Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel you. It's just I don't really want to spend the whole time talking about this, because you've clearly already made up your opinion on it. So what's the point? Run it. See what happens. Anyways, let's get to this list. As Sats and Sunset says, what's on the list? Jenny says, funny thing people don't understand is that God still communicates with people. If you really want to know, ask. 100%. 100% agree with that, Jenny. And I've personally experienced that in my own life. So I can objectively say that. I guess I shouldn't say that's objective because it could have been coincidence. It could have been happenstance. But I 100% subscribe to that, Jenny. Okay. Sin says, fork around and find out. Amen to that. You got to be able to laugh. You got to be able to laugh. Because again, we're all on Team Bitcoin here, man. We all want the same thing. We all want the central banks to go away. We all want fiat to disappear. We all want a system and a world built on truth and transparency and fairness. That's what we all want. We're all on the same team. So even if somebody disagrees with you, like, it's not the end of the world. It's just not. Because here's the thing. Here's my thoughts on it. Like, this is the last thing I'm going to say about it today. I know I've said that 3 times already, but if BIP 110 fails, if it fails, there's no reason why in 2, 3, 4 years down the road, somebody can't propose something different, but the same. Maybe a different person does it. Maybe it's communicated differently. Maybe there's different changes to it that more people agree with. Like, it's not the end of the world. And that's why I'm saying, don't just be black and white on things. Like, yeah, again, you can agree, you can not agree, you can believe whatever you want to. But like, if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. Don't give up on Bitcoin though. And remember that we are all on Team Bitcoin here. We all want the same thing at the end of the day. Okay. I'm trying here, folks. I'm trying to stay composed. We got to keep our composure. All right. Somebody in the chat, I think it was BTC. No, who was it? Wizard of Ox, I think, yesterday. He left a nice comment. He said, Jor, I love all the Trailer Park Boys references. And it's funny because I just say things and I don't even realize what I say. It's just like, as you can probably tell, there's zero script around here. But here's the list for today. So we're going to call this 10 ways. I used to watch a guy named James Altucher. You guys ever watch him before? He's a crazy guy. He's a crazy guy with crazy way of communicating, but I really liked him. I like the way that he approaches things. And this was before Bitcoin. I don't know how I would feel about him now that I see the world slightly different because of Bitcoin. But I remember he would always put out these lists. He had a blog and he would always put out these lists and it would be like 5 things, blah, blah, blah. And there'd be like either 2 of them or there would be like 15 of them. And they were all like out of order. Like he would have 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. Like they were just didn't make any sense. Yeah, Altucher was awesome, man. I actually really enjoy. I need to get back into him because I think that a lot of his principles would also apply in the Bitcoin world. But yeah, he was a crazy dude, man. He's somebody I think who made a lot of money and lost a lot of money like 15 times. And it's so interesting to hear guys like that who are just so, committed to something and just ride it out to the end. I really respect that about people. I really do. And, sometimes it's to their detriment, but also, it's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's part of life. And shout out to BTC Backpacker because he starts his shows with Denzel Washington every day. And part of Denzel's message is to fail forward. And I've heard a lot of people talking about that lately. It's like, you want to fail as much as you can because that's what actually leads to where you want to be. That's what leads to success. You're never going to find success by just like pussyfooting around things. You just got to move in one direction and you got to fail and keep failing forward. And I think that James Altucher was a perfect example of somebody who does that in practice. 10 ways to stack more sats. One. What? One. 10 ways to stack more Satoshi. So we are at the 58K meme right now. And there's a lot of people losing their minds. There's a lot of people getting wiped out. There's a lot of people fighting with each other in Bitcoin because we really have nobody to blame for this crash, this big dip. But the people who are here, the Bitcoiners, the legends, there's legends born every Bitcoin cycle. Price goes up. A lot of people come into the space. Price goes down. Majority of those people leave. And we call those people tourists. And I think we're at the stage now where the majority of tourists are gone. I think anyways. So I wanted to make this list here for the people who understand what's going on here, the people who have conviction. And so that's what we're going to go through today. It might be 10 things. It might be 5. It might be 12. I don't know. But I don't even know where to start here. This is going to be in no particular order. But I think that the one thing that everybody can apply to this, or I shouldn't say everybody, but the majority of people watching the show today will be able to apply here, is Sats back. Sats back rewards. So in the US, they have the fold card, where when you make a purchase, instead of getting credit card points or airline miles back, you actually get Satoshis. And so there's a fold. And so if there's anybody watching the show right now in the live chat with a fold account, I'm in Canada, so I don't have access to it, but put your fold referral link in there in the chat and I'll share it, or people can use it, I guess. I'll put in the YouTube. You'll probably have to put it on Rumble though. So you have to be watching on Rumble right now to put that in there. But here in Canada, I use something called ShakePay, which is like the Canadian equivalent to Fold. So there's Sats and Sunsets right now. I'll put it on the screen. I'll try to remember to put it in the comments after. But whenever you're signing up for stuff like this, make sure that you always use somebody's referral, because you usually get something for it. You're just leaving money on the table if you don't use somebody's referral link there. So you could probably just go to Fold. You could type in 34C337F7 and you'll get apply Sats and Sunsets referral link there. So here's what you do. Like I literally use my ShakePay Visa for everything. Everything that I pay for, I pay with my ShakePay Visa. And I've stacked a large amount of Satoshis over these last 3 or 4 years that I've been doing it. And again, you're just leaving money on the table. If you're not using something like this, it's a very easy way to stack Sats. And the cool thing about ShakePay too, and this is maybe just, I'll call this one 1B or 1.5 maybe. There we go, 1.5. But there's certain things on here. So I think Fold has like, you can spin a wheel and get free Sats. ShakePay has, you shake the phone and get free Sats. But utilize the features within the app. And ShakePay has something called Roundup. So this is what it would look like. So you buy, let's say that I was buying gas. So the gas costs $70 and I would get 1% in Sats back. So what would that be? 1% of 70 would be like 70 cents. So 70 times, what would I be getting? 1,600 Sats. So I would probably get like 1,200 Sats for that. 1,200 Sats just for doing that. And again, if you subscribe to the theory that one day these Sats are going to be worth the equivalent of $1, that's a pretty good trade. You get a tank of gas, you get 1,200 Sats. Do the math on that over 10, 20 years. And you're cooking. You're absolutely cooking. But the other thing here is the roundup. So then it rounds up to, I do a $5 roundup. And then the Sats on that would be, even though I paid for them, it just kind of happens every time I make a purchase. So equals 5 times 1,600, 8,000 Sats. So that single transaction there of me paying for my gas, I ended up paying $5 more for it. So 75, like what's the big difference there? Gas goes up and down every day. So there's no real, you don't really notice anything, but that equation there, I got 9,200 Sats. for using that, for using my ShakePay Visa card and for using the roundup feature on the card. So again, $1 equals 1 sat. You look at these sats like dollars and you just try to get as many of them as you can. And it's a lot differently when you look at it from a Bitcoin lens and you're saying, man, I just got 9,200 sats. Imagine if you got paid $9,200 for doing something like this, or even for working for, you know, whatever. I just see sats like I see dollars. And so that's number one. So I will put, I'll put sats and sunsets fold referral in the pin comments here. I might have to get it from them later if I don't remember this. Actually, no, I'm going to copy and paste this right now. And so I'll put fold. I'll put ShakePay in there if you're in Canada. I see Mike ask a question here. Do you get a physical Visa card or are you just digital on your phone? It's just digital. It's just on your phone, which I love. Because even yesterday going to golf, I forgot my wallet at home. So I was able to pay for the golf, for gas, for food, for drinks, everything with my ShakePay card. And again, I know that doesn't seem like much, one transaction, but how many transactions do you make? You want to be paying for as much as you can with this stuff yet. Micah said, I have an account, haven't used it yet. Is it a prepaid Visa? Yes. Yes, it is. So that's the other nice thing too, is like you have to prepay it. So it's not as like, you know, it's not as dangerous as using a credit card because you actually have to put the money in there up front. So what I usually do is I'll usually put like a couple $100 into my ShakePay account every Monday. And that's what I use for my daily buys. So with that $200, it's like a deposit in there. It shows up in my cash account. So I'll buy like we do on the show here, 5, 10, X amount of Bitcoin every day using that balance. And I can pay for things with it. So $200 might be short, you know, depending on what I'm doing for the week. But yeah, that's what I do. Jenny says, fold as roundup 2, spend 125 and get 75 cents toward buying sats. So fold as the exact same thing then. And I'm guessing there's probably people here who even use fold today, but they didn't know about that feature. So I need the fold here. I'm going to go to, I'm going to go grab that from Sats and Sunsets right now. So we're going to keep going. I'll grab that from the chat and I'll put these in the pin comments just in case anybody's watching this later. I shouldn't say just in case anybody is, for the people who are watching this later. Okay, and the second one here is, this is kind of an idea I've had for a while. I haven't put it into practice myself just because I got, you know, enough stuff going on. But the second one here is, oh, what happened? Jenny says, fold is great. Yeah, I mean, it's absolute no-brainer to be doing this stuff. It's more, and you have to compound this stuff. It might not seem like a lot today or in a month from now, but you start doing things over time and you do this for 10 years and you're going to be very thankful that you did. So the next one here, I put buy in bulk, and actually you could tie this into the first one here. You could buy things in bulk with your Fold card or your ShakePay card in fiat and sell in sats. So this is an idea that I've had for a very long time now. And if anybody wants to do this or take this and run with it, I would definitely support it and I would help you promote it here on the channel. But the idea here is that you find things that Bitcoiners want and need. More importantly, find things that Bitcoiners need. And this could be many things. This could be soap. This could be shaving cream. This could be coffee. This could be underwear. Find out what Bitcoiners need. Buy a bunch of it in fiat with your Fold card, with your ShakePay card, get some sats back right off the hop, and then sell it to Bitcoiners. Spin up a website, put it on the different markets that Bitcoiners buy and sell on. Get onto Nostr, start promoting it there. All these different things, that's what you can do. So you buy these things in bulk with fiat. Also, the nice thing about this is this. The nice thing about this is this. And if you're just listening to the show, you might want to take a look at the screen here, but that's what this is. So you're buying things in bulk and you're selling them in sats. And so you can put a bit of a markup on there, like 5-10%, or maybe not. Maybe you just value these so much that you're just like, I'm going to sell these for cheaper to Bitcoiners. And then the nice thing about this is when you find something that Bitcoiners need, they're probably going to need it in 2 months again. And most Bitcoiners want to spend their Bitcoin. They do. Most Bitcoiners want to pay for things in Bitcoin, especially if they can do it in a private way. So I absolutely love this strategy. And like I said, if somebody is going to take this one on, and I shouldn't put that in bold maybe because they'll take away from the rest. But I would work with you and I would help you promote that on the show. I love that concept. And I think that there's something there. I just don't have the time myself to be doing it. Okay, number 3. Because it is summertime, it's June. Have a garage sale. Have a garage sale. Get some cash. Get rid of some of your junk and convert that cash into Bitcoin. Again, even if you end up with like $150, $200, $250, maybe more, maybe you got some things in your house that are worth quite a bit that you just don't use or want anymore. Have a garage sale. Take the cash, buy sats. Very simple. And a lot of towns, like a couple weeks ago, we had a garage sale here. It was a town-wide garage sale. And so there's a lot of people out. A lot of people love garage sailing. And so you kind of kill, here's a Trailer Park Boys reference. You get 2 birds stoned at once. As Ricky would say, you get two birds stoned at once, because you're getting more sats and you're getting rid of stuff in your house. And things take up physical space in your house, but they also take up space in your mind. So you're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here, or you're going to get 2 birds stoned at once. You're going to get more sats and you're going to get rid of stuff. You're going to free up some physical space and some emotional space and mental space. So have a garage sale. Next one here is buy intelligently. So this is something we've talked about quite a bit this week, buying intelligently, which is look at the fear and greed index. And when it's low, buy more. When it's high, buy a little less. But you can kind of take your average of how much you have to allocate to Bitcoin every week or every month, and you can use that accordingly. So when we're in a situation like we are right now in extreme fear, when the market's very fearful, that usually means the price is way down. That means you get more sats for the same amount of dollars. And so you buy more when the fear and greed index is low, and you buy a little less. Maybe you allocate some cash into your cash reserve when it's high, when people are greedy. When people are greedy, that usually means the price is high, and that means that the same amount of dollars is getting less sats. So just instead of doing that, just put more into your cash reserve. So if you do this intelligently, then you can easily get more sats over time. What else do I have here? Have a counter trade. This is something that I haven't really put into practice myself in fiat land. And so this isn't something, I don't recommend people trade their Bitcoin or sell their Bitcoin that they have in cold storage, but have a counter trade. So an example of this would be, if you still do have a bunch of money in like the stock market, in a retirement fund or a pension or something like that, money that's locked up, have a counter trade. So have like the ETF. As much as I hate the financial products, the reality is that a lot of people still have a lot of money in that system. So you could get like an ETF, or you could get strategy, something like that. And then you have something that's completely unrelated to Bitcoin. Something like Apple or Nvidia, or I don't know, what's a good stock, like freaking Hometown Auto Body or something like that. But you just have these 2 stocks. You keep it very simple. And then when Bitcoin's ripping up, you swap some of those strategy shares for more Hometown Auto Body shares. And then when Bitcoin's down, then you swap some of your Hometown Auto Body shares for more strategy. And again, all of these things, they're not complex, but they do take a little bit of your time and energy to do. So that's a way to, and then of course, at the end of it, you want to take all of that, cash it out, and buy Bitcoin and put that into self-custody. That's the long-term goal. But in between there, you can kind of counter trade back and forth between Bitcoin and non-Bitcoin and kind of ride that out when it's high, when it's low, and kind of trade back and forth there. So the mistake that I made last cycle was that I had everything in Bitcoin. So strategy, I think I had a couple other Bitcoin related companies, because I still have a little bit in fiat. It's like 5% of my total wealth, but I had it all in Bitcoin related stuff. So when Bitcoin goes down, I have no leverage. I have no ability to swap up because it's all down. And so I would be selling everything at a loss, and that just doesn't make any sense to do. But if I would have had like 50-50 split between Bitcoin stuff and non-Bitcoin stuff, I could have ended up with more capital and at the end of the day, more Satoshis. Okay, next one here is consuming sats. Consuming sats. So this is something I do all the time. Whenever I'm in the city, I feel tempted. You know, you're driving along the road, you see this road sign, you see this advertisement, you think, oh, I need to get a coffee, I need a donut, I need this, I need that. And if you can, like, instead of turning in and buying and consuming something, you just go on your phone and you buy whatever would have cost, buy that in Bitcoin and keep driving. So instead of consuming things like we're all used to, we're all trained to do, you consume sats. So I love doing that personally. It's like, should I order food or should I just make my own food? Okay, well, I made myself a chicken jalapeno sandwich. So now I just freed up $20. I'm going to do a smash buy. So you consume sats instead of things. So I love that one. And again, doesn't seem like much, $20 worth of Bitcoin, but you do that 100 times in a year. That's a significant amount of Satoshis. Okay, what else do we have here? We have hyper local arbitrage. So I also love this one too. So hyper local arbitrage. So when you go down to your thrift store, you go down to the thrift store or any store that would have like pricing of things, like a market for it. So I wouldn't say like groceries fit under this category, but like anything with a market or like a marketplace, Facebook marketplace, things like that. Anything that's like local to your area. So Facebook marketplace, buy and sells, thrift stores, those things are priced according to the market size. They're priced according to the total demographic or market population there. So an example of this, because I know it's kind of difficult to explain this, but let's say that there's a thrift store, or let's use Facebook Marketplace, because I think people are more familiar with that, and you can do it easier too. Facebook Marketplace, your town has maybe, let's say, 20,000 people. That's the whole market. That's the reachable market. And so things are priced accordingly. And so you buy that. It's low. That's the arbitrage there. You buy low because it's priced accordingly, because there's only a small segment of the population that you're reaching. So you buy for a low price and then you sell high to the world. So you take that one item that you buy at the thrift store. Let's say you pay $10 from it because it's priced according to the market. And then you take that item and you offer it to the world. You put it on Nostr, you put it on plebeian market, however you do with it. But that's the arbitrage there, is that you take these items that you buy for low locally and you sell them to a much bigger market for sats. So again, this is another right here, arbitrage. You're taking fiat, you're buying something with it, and you're getting private sats back. So you're probably, unless you take this very seriously, you're not going to make a lot doing this, because you'd have to put in a lot of time. But there is still the ability to do that. If you are somebody who likes buying and selling things, you buy something on your local Facebook marketplace and you sell it to the world for more money because it's a bigger market. And Bitcoin's a global asset, so anybody out there could buy it from you. So an example of that would be, let's say that you find something that like nobody in your town really likes. I don't know what that would be. Let's say just like a Harley Davidson shirt. Maybe you live in a very liberal town and and they're not a big fan of Harley Davidson, so it's priced according to that. But then you put it online and you might be able to sell it for 5, 10, 15x of what you paid for it, because there are a lot of people who do like Harley Davidson out there. So that's kind of the idea with that. So that's number 7. What else here? Freelance and accept Bitcoin. So I know a lot of people don't really see themselves as like freelancers, but you have to understand that whatever knowledge that you have inside of your brain, somebody else could value from getting that from you. Freelance and accept sats. Actually, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to put these things here in green or in orange, maybe. Orange. These are ways to get private Bitcoin right here too. I mean, if you could find a way, if you're in Canada, you get $300 from your garage sale, you go pump that into a Bitcoin Well ATM. That could be a way to buy non-KYC sats. So these ones here, buy in bulk, sell in sats, have a garage sale, the hyper-local arbitrage, and freelancer and accepting sats. Everybody's always looking for ways to buy private Bitcoin, non-KYC sats. These 4 things here in orange are really good ways to do that. So you freelance, whatever it is that you do, you promote it. And you say, hey, I can help you with this. I can build this for you. I can do this for you, but I accept Bitcoin. And again, you're targeting Bitcoiners here. So most people are going to be willing to do that. You might have freelance that you maybe put on like, what's that? Fiverr. You might put that on there, and maybe some people pay you in fiat, but you could take those same things and put it onto Nostr, and maybe some people pay you in Bitcoin. So the idea with this whole list here is that probably none of these things are going to put a massive dent in your stack, but all of them, if you can do them and compound them over time, is going to make a huge difference in the size of your stack in the future. Or maybe you find something that works and you really lean in on that. That's the other thing. Okay, and then the next one here is share your links. So my idea with this before, and this is probably the perfect time to be talking about this right now. My idea was to put together like a simple PDF, because probably sometime in the next 1 or 2 years, minimum, you're going to have a lot of people reaching out to you and saying, hey, Bitcoin's going up. I need to get some. What do I do? And so instead of having to have like a 20-minute conversation and eat up a bunch of your energy and time, you just say, what's your email? I'll send you my PDF for onboarding people to Bitcoin. And you have your Fold link on there. You have your River link on there. You have your whatever links on there. Crinkle. I just see Sats and Sunset said Crinkle. And you have all your links and you just send it to them. And then again, over time, this turns into something pretty substantial. And depending what you're using, like River, I think you can pretty much get a affiliate link with River. Anybody could. And so you could either, start your community. This would kind of tie into this too. You have a community that you're talking about. You're showing your expertise. You're accepting sats, and you're sharing your links with the people in that community or your friends and family who are inevitably going to be asking you where to buy Bitcoin. And so you kind of just build that up now. And when the time comes, you're going to be ready for it. Okay. And then I do see Sats and Sunset said Bitcoin fountains, which I didn't have on the list here, believe it or not. I haven't been doing too much of that. I don't know why, but Bitcoin fountains. So that would be ZBD. ZBD just kind of overstepped with me. They're asking for too much information and, so I just kind of gave up. But Crinkle, what would be another one? Like Bitcoin Snake. None of these are going to change your life. But again, another spoke in the wheel, another way to compound sats. And if you just do these things consistently, you're going to be very surprised with your results here. What else is there? Throw in the chat if you got some ideas for the Bitcoin fountains. So Sin said BitTasker here. So BitTasker. Never even heard of that. But he said it's the Noster equivalent of fiber. Interesting. Sato said, if you're still here after this harsh Bitcoin winter, then you are a winner. I would say legend, though. That's what the show is about today, legend, and that's what this is for. Bitcoin said, or Sin said, S miles. S miles. So there's 10 right there. Did I miss anything? Share your links, buy in bulk, sell in sats, garage sale, buy intelligently, counter trade. Oh, and I like this one. These are just kind of two mindset things that I would say. So first of all here, which is start at zero and stop counting. Start at zero. I really like this mental model. Start at zero and stop counting. So I like to start at zero. Just pretend like you lost all your Bitcoin, you got hacked or somebody stole it from you, and start at zero. Because I feel like people have these limiting beliefs. They're like, well, I have 10 million sats and my goal was to get to 15 million sats. So I only need 5 million more sats, something like that. You know, like the videos, the 0.21 Bitcoin will change your life. Start at zero. Start at zero. Start do as many of these as you can over time, and just stop counting. Just focus on adding value to the world, focusing on getting rid of your junk, focus on, learning new skills, sharing those skills with other people, and just valuing things as if one sat were already equal to $1, and just keep growing that. Stop counting it. Stop looking at every day. Stop putting limitations on yourself. Start from zero and stop counting. And the next one here is like everybody's chasing yield. And I would say that these things kind of replace that. Because the yield, here's the other part. You should never let anyone else hold your keys, no matter what they promise. So this would include, I would even say, strategy. I don't think that you should give your capital to Sailor to buy Bitcoin on your behalf and hold the keys to your Bitcoin. And that includes many different things here. And anybody who's trying to earn like a yield on Bitcoin, that means that you're leaving your keys with somebody else. And that's how everybody gets burned. So the real power in Bitcoin is self-custody, is understanding what a private key is, learning how to protect that private key. And that's your way to say, hey, this is mine. I'm planting my flag here. Nobody can take this from me. Nobody can mess with me here. So do not chase yield. Bitcoin doesn't have a yield. That's why a lot of people don't own it, because they say, well, there's no cash flow in Bitcoin. But here's the thing. Anytime you're getting a yield, somebody else is holding your keys and they're probably lending out your Bitcoin, and you might not get that Bitcoin back. So do not chase yield. The yield, this is the yield. The yield is that you have figured this out. The yield is you figuring this out before everyone else. And the people you meet along the way. That's the Bitcoin yield. The yield is you getting here before other people have figured this out. That's the yield that you're going to get from Bitcoin. And the longer your time horizon, the bigger your yield is going to be. And as the Bitcoin nurse says here, if you don't know where the yield comes from, then you are the yield. Exactly. So stop trying to earn anything on your Bitcoin. Stop giving your private keys to somebody else, and understand that the yield is that you have figured this out before other people have. You've managed to hold on while the other people have not. That's the yield. And over time, what's going to play out is those Satoshis that you're holding are going to be more and more valuable. They're going to be able to buy you more and more things. It does not matter what the fiat price is. That's not what you should be focused on. You should be focused on what the value of these Satoshis are, and the power and the sovereignty that comes with those sats. So that's the 10 ways. It actually worked out to be 10. I did not expect that. That's the list. And we had Arnie Boy show up here. Arnie wanted to get in because he's a sat stacker himself. He's got a couple sats. This is Arnie Boy's QR code. Well, Arnie and the Rescue Dogs, that's their QR code. And one day in the not so distant future, hopefully, we're going to have a nice rescue dog shelter here on this property. And hopefully it will be built and powered by Bitcoin. Hey, Arn. That's the plan. That's the plan. Okay. Well, we're 2 hours here. Wow, I didn't expect that today. I got a busy day today, and we got the Maple Bitcoin show starting in 1 hour. So I got to hit the road here, folks. I got to hit the road here. I want to get some. Okay, Sin said, "Here's my Crinkle link. If anyone is interested, just scan receipts and receive Sats." Okay, so I'll put that in the notes too, Sin. Crinkle from Sin and Sats and Sunsets was Fold. Okay. Arnie and the Rescue Dog sounds like a fire early 2000s pop band. Arnie and the Rescue Dogs. I like that. What do you think, Arn? Like the Backstreet Boys or something along those lines. Look at this. Okay, we got a couple zaps to report here. Chuck sent in a live free zap of 1111. Thank you, Chuck. We also got a big one here. Who's this from? From Micah. Look at that. Wow, Micah. Thank you, Micah. She sent a King's app, which a King's app is 8888. Thank you very much, Micah. That's very nice. And Alex is here. Alex sent in 21 sats with an orange heart. Thank you, Alex. Great to see Alex in the chat. I had a great time with Alex in Prague. Great time. And we got a big one here from Mark. Mark's Friday zap, the Mega Mark zap. So thank you, Mark. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Stewie. And very, very appreciative. Look at that. Big show today for Fat Zap Friday. And like I said, those sats are more than just financial to me. They're more than just balance go up. They are a signal saying, hey, Jor, appreciate you, man. Attaboy. Keep going. Keep going. Keep talking. Whatever you're talking about, I might agree with. I might not agree with all of it. But again, we're all on Team Bitcoin here. We all want the same thing at the end of this, or most of us do anyways. And that's what we're fighting every single day for. So thank you for all the love, all the support today, for the big one today from Sats and Sunsets. And to all. Mark said, love ShakePay. Use it all the time and do an auto DCA, no spread, buy every day. Also in a Shake Squad with Ginger. I forgot about this Shake Squad. So if you have a Shake Squad, you can actually get points every time somebody else uses their ShakePay Visa to pay for something. So that's awesome, Mark. I'll put, again, if you're in Canada, it's ShakePay. If you're in the US, it's Fold. And it is something that you should be doing today. You should start doing that today and let it compound. Bitcoin Hodl says, Fold also really good to buy gift cards with. Hardware store, food, sats back for stuff you're going to buy already. There you go. Lows, you get 4 to 5% back. Wow. And gift cards with up to 10% back in sats. There you go. See, ShakePay doesn't have that. That's Fold. Mark said, happy Friday, everyone. Late to the show as I was out doing my M motorcycle license road test. Passed it. Feel 16 again. Way to go, Mark. That's awesome. You're gonna get hopefully a couple months of good riding weather here. Just added Fold card to my Apple Pay. Yeah, that's what I have with my ShakePay too. It just sits in the I think it's called Google Wallet or something. But yeah, you just tap it. You don't even have to have the app open. I just tap my phone. Boom. Paid for. Sats back. Sin's got to renew his license too. Bitcoin Nurse says, buy gift cards, get sats back, Walmart, Airbnb, etc. Exactly. Also, gift cards to CoinKite for the cold card and Amazon last day of Prime Day is today. And Amazon gift cards have boosted sats 1.75%. See, these guys and girls know what they're doing. These are the experts in here. Jenny says, I'm getting points through my program at work for gift cards. What I plan to buy with cash, I can now buy with free gift cards and use that cash to get Bitcoin. Josh said, I have a Robinhood Visa, 3% back. I take those points down to Robinhood, then withdraw to bank account, then to River. There you go. 3% is pretty solid too, man. And for the Canadians out there with ShakePay, you can actually join Ginger and Mark in their Shake Squad. So there you go. How would you do that? How would somebody get a hold of you guys? I guess they would probably have to be on Signal in one of the communities, Jerry's or the Visionaries, or a different one, the Digital Homestead course. Although it sounds like Micah is going to start using theirs. So maybe Micah could join Ginger and Mark and be part of their Shake Squad. You just get free sats. Every time somebody uses their ShakePay Visa card, you get free sats. Scotty says raid. Okay, good call, Scotty boy. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. So we had a late start. We're a little bit sunburnt and tired and possibly heat stroke. But we got to get past that because I got a big weekend here. I got to go to a 3-day music festival and probably have a couple beers. I will probably consume a couple beers. So where should we wrap things up today? I didn't even look at the mempool. What do we got for time? Oh, we're in trouble here. We are in trouble. But anyways, was there anything else? Just want to make sure I don't miss anything here. Oh, I kind of like this. And, you know, I was just talking about, this is I like this post. Let me show this quickly. This will be the last thing we talk about today. Get up here on my screen. Come on. So there's three posts that I wanted to share here. Well, 4, I guess. So first one here, this is a good resource from Ascot over on Noster that says 10 websites almost nobody knows exist. So I actually checked out a few of these and they're really cool. So if you want access to these, you can, I looked at this Atlas Obscura one, which was, what was the first thing that popped up there? It was like a place of the day. So this is just kind of cool. Maybe I'll start incorporating this into the show every day, like the place of the day. So this is Marilyn Monroe's subway grate, which created one of the most iconic images in American cinema. So this website's called Atlas Obscura. And like I said here, this post here, which I reposted on Noster, it has 10 websites almost nobody knows exist. So if you got some time today or this weekend, you can check out some of this stuff. I thought it was really cool. And I'll probably do a little bit more diving into these when I have some more time. But massive archive of historical books, one of the best free history resources online, experience websites through vintage browsers, and discover unusual and hidden places and attractions. That's what we were just on, Atlas Obscura. So I like this one. I'm probably going to bookmark that one. Memorial benches around the world, random corners of the internet, beautifully formatted public domain books, millions of free sheet music arrangements, and map connections between powerful people and organizations. So I figured the people that watch this show would get some value from this post here from Ascot. And then this one here, something fun to do today on Noster. Start an anonymous account. Think about privacy. Use Tor or a VPN, but don't worry about it too much. Don't overthink it. It is more important to start than to get too hung up on the details. Just start one. Maybe post your meals. Maybe post art. The more specific, the better. Enjoy the fact that you don't have any followers. There's no pressure. You are free to post whatever you want. And if you really want to have fun, try to design the person you would like to become. You can just become someone. I love that one. I love that post. Who is that from? Lan Tungir. I like that picture too. So that I like that. Enjoy the fact that you don't have any followers. No pressure. You're free to post whatever you want. And you can kind of just try things out. Nobody knows it's you. Your name's not in it. Your photo's not in it. Nothing about you is in that. And especially if you're using Tor or a VPN. So whatever interests you, start posting about it and just see what happens. No pressure. No pressure at all. And there's another good resource here for those people who are thinking about Graphene OS, which I'm one of those people. So it says, what were the most painful points of the migration and what are things you missed from the iPhone or your Android? And then there's 35 different responses to it. So for anybody out there who's thinking about getting a Graphene OS, it's a valuable post from Franz app. And this is where we're going to end it today with the turtle, the orange turtle. It says, it does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. And I think that's a perfect way to wrap up the show today, because all of those things we talked about there, those 10 ideas, you just do them. And it's not going to seem like much right off the start, but you do it today, you do it tomorrow, you do it with everything you do in terms of fold, shake, pay, all your buys. And then over time, it's going to turn into something pretty special. So there's no rush. There's no rush here. I think the worst thing you can do in Bitcoin is be very, think you have to do everything today, very rushed. And you just be like a turtle. Be like a turtle with your stacking, with your direction. As long as you're moving in the right direction, it does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. Probably one of my top 3 favorite quotes. And very applicable. This is episode, the 551st live stream that we've done together here. And, we still haven't really had that lightning could strike at any moment. But I have no doubt that it's going to happen one day. One day it's going to happen. Everything on Nostr, everything on YouTube has all been very organic. I haven't had any days where I went on a podcast and got a bunch of new followers, or nobody's really mentioned my channel and it got a bunch of new subscribers. It's just all been just very slow, very slowly in the same direction, consistently. And maybe one day lightning could strike at any moment. You got to keep that in mind. Just keep doing it. Doesn't matter how fast or slow you're going, as long as you're moving the right direction. And I love that. So anyways, I was going to say see you next week, but for those people who watch Maple Bitcoin, you're going to see me again in an hour. So Simply Bitcoin is live. Should we raid them? Do we like Simply Bitcoin? What do we think? I'll let you guys on Rumble vote for that one. Should we do Simply or should we do a different one? You tell me. But we do need to do a raid. I think we need to do, this should be our last raid today that we need for June. We're going to pull June off, I think. It looks good. I think we're going to do it. I thought I might have to do a stream this weekend, but I think we're going to do it. Oh, Badlands. Okay, look at this. We got Badlands GART 12 day 1 panel. Okay. Sin says nah. So let's go to Badlands. Looks like they're doing a panel on the GART. So nobody will really care that we've rated them, but I like Badlands. Oh, G Money's on stage. I love G Money. G Money's talking right now. Oh, this would be a good chat. I might have to go back and watch this after. GART 12 day 1 panel. And there's G Money right there. You probably can't hear it, or maybe you can. But anyways, let's raid this one here. Let's raid the GART. I'm actually going to watch this for a little while. I think G Money's on the stage. So let's hop over there and whoa. Who's that guy? So let's go. Well, what do we got for likes here before we go? We got 23. Okay, we did pretty good today. We did pretty good. Shout out to you guys and girls. Now we're going into Inception here. I got to get this off the freaking screen. So raid. No, raid. Okay, let's go over and check out the Badlands. Let's go listen to see what G Money's got to say. So that's it. Thanks everybody on YouTube. Thanks everybody on Rumble. Thanks to everybody who sent in some support to Jor@rizful.com, helping us keep us free, keeping us free from sponsors. And a couple big ones today. We had Sats and Sunsets. We had Mark. We had Maria. We had Micah. I don't want to miss any here. And we had a couple fiat zaps from Jenny and the captain over in Rumble. I think that's it. I hit them all. And for the other supporters too, thank you very much. I hope you all have a great weekend. I hope you'll join us for Maple Bitcoin in about an hour from now. And that's it. We're heading over to the Badlands. So join us if you're on Rumble. Go say hi to Badlands. And I don't know if it worked. We'll see. Did it work? Maybe not. So there was an error. Oh no, it worked. Okay. Thanks everybody. Have a good weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.